one of the very important topics along with AI. Obesity is the another one which is actually creating the waves. More than 1 billion people are either obese or having an overweight problem. It is actually becoming from an epidemic to pandemic. People with obesity, they will have a high propensity of having a cardiovascular disease. There are now more females with obesity than the females with the less weight. People with more than 30 BMIs are not taking and they are not going to the doctor. The first fact is that all the countries are battling with the problem of obesity. We are called as almost becoming the diabetes capital of the world, or can become potentially the obesity capital of the world.
When it comes to shaping the future of health, some leaders don't just follow trends, they define them. I'm Mandira Bedi and welcome to the Nutrify Today Boardroom Series Lite, where we bring you the visionaries, the strategists, and the innovators who are transforming wellness in India and beyond. Today we have with us a powerhouse of expertise in global life sciences, a strategist who has driven businesses across multinational pharma companies, and a thought leader deeply immersed in diabetes and obesity, two of the most pressing health challenges of our time. With a keen eye on market trends and a deep understanding of India's evolving health landscape, he is here to help us see where the future is headed. Please join me in welcoming Vikrant Shrotriya, Corporate Vice President and Managing Director, Novo Nordisk, India. Vikrant, welcome. It's a privilege to have you on this podcast with us. Paint us the global picture. What are the one or two biggest obesity trends making headlines this year? And which is the one that really raised your eyebrow?
Well, thank you very much, Mandira, and pleasure to be here in Nutrify Boardroom Series. And I think one of the very important topics along with AI, obesity is the another one which is actually creating the waves. And why not? You can just also see Prime Minister Modi on 15th of August gave a clarion call in terms of tackling the burden of obesity in India. When you talk about globally, I think one of the big things which are happening is that obesity is not stopping. It is actually becoming from an epidemic to pandemic. You know, when you really see the population of the world, more than 1 billion people are either obese or having an overweight problem. And that's quite
staggering.
a staggering number. And it's not the number we should be proud of. Zoom into India, we are talking about more than 250 million people having obesity. So one very important thing is, despite all the efforts which have happened about obesity, tackling it, this is one trend which is not stopping. And the second one which is actually happening is that now there are options in the treatment by which obesity can be tackled. So on one side, it's not stopping. On the other side, there are treatment and options which are there. And some of the new treatments which have come, like GLP-1, they are able to bend the curve in the US. And that's the second trend. Third, I would say that the trend which is also happening post-COVID at least is sensitization of the health and embracement of these digital therapeutics by many of the people in terms of handling their obesity treatment along with diet, exercise and medication. Some of these fundamental changes are happening in this. You can say some people call it disease, some people call it disorder, some people call it condition.
Well, it is a comorbidity, isn't it? Obesity is a morbidity. A lot of people during the pandemic who were, you for want of a better term, suffering from obesity, were worried that they were more vulnerable to the disease as well, isn't it?
Absolutely right. People were having obesity or having diabetes. They had more issues in terms of the outcome, in terms of coming out of the COVID problems,
Yes.
much more longer. And there are multiple reasons behind it, but obesity itself brings a lot of comorbidity situations.
It's
Right?
pressure on all your organs. It's pressure on your heart. It's pressure on your liver. It's pressure on your lungs.
Everything from the head to toe, even the anxiety and depression, even the respiratory disorder. You have the CVD, you have the gallstone, you have the infertility, you have the osteoarthritis. You name a disease, we call it 229 and some people call 231 disease, which are associated with obesity.
Oh, wow.
And person with obesity, mostly if you see people with obesity, they will have a high propensity of having a cardiovascular disease.
Yes.
They will have diabetes, and those are the simple things which are happening, or the issues which happen along with obesity. The issue is this considered itself as a disease or not? So many of the
But
governments...
Is it?
Many of the governments have acknowledged it as a disease, at least the Canada and, the European Society, which is tackling the obesity. They have actually, which is called as ESO, they have actually acknowledged it as a disease, but there are many others who have to still acknowledge it as a disease. I'm very happy that at least in India, doctors have come forward and started considering it as a disease disorder, which has got an element now of diet and exercise in terms of the treatment. But what is also very becoming important is that pharmacotherapy is also becoming very strong part of the treatment.
Right. We are going to talk about GLP-1 in just a bit. But you spoke of 250 million people in India. That's a very large number. Where are the hotspots? I mean, how fast is it growing in India?
It's just by an imagination, people will think that prosperity and more food availability actually should bring obesity in the urban area because they have high affordability. But sorry to say that it's actually across India.
The board.
Of course, we see high propensity of obesity in the urban area. And we see that because the nutrition and, the food is available in plenty. But we are also seeing the rising trends actually even in the rural area. That's because of plentiful availability of carbohydrate. Thanks to our Harit Kranti or the Green Revolution, the carbohydrates are plenty. And then we, as an Indian, have got very heavy white color carbohydrate diet, possibly responsible for more number of calories which actually people take. Along with that, the genetic predisposition, which is also there.
Yes.
We are genetically predisposed. And then the third thing is, of course, the overall environmental factors which are also emerging to co-create what is called as an epidemic of obesity.
So you have called it an epidemic. What's the single number on your dashboard that makes you go, you know what, this is urgent, something needs to be done about this, like now? I mean, it needs to be tackled with now, like on an urgent basis.
When I see that something which is abnormal, having an obesity is abnormal, having the right weight should be the normal one. But what is one thing which alarms me is when you see 4 out of 10 adults are obese and underweight. When I see my own brothers and sisters find it normal. The most dangerous thing actually in life is when abnormal start considering as normal. It's like crossing the red signal. In some of the places you will see people will cross and they will say it is normal till the time accident is actually met. So having a high weight but still considering it cool. I come from North India, that it is sign of prosperity. It comes from probably our
हम खाते पीते घर के हैं. That's what people say.
Absolutely. It's only one life. Let's live it. But I would say, but let's live it, but not alone with the food.
Yes, and let's live it, and let's live it in a healthy manner. Let's enjoy it like we can enjoy it, rather than, in discomfort and in pain and in sickness. Now, can pharma bend the curve alone, or do we need a full team sport here? Pharma, nutraceuticals, food tech, all playing along in sync.
See, I don't think so that pharma alone can bend the curve. Like the way alone diet can never bend the curve, otherwise it would have been tackled. Exercise can tackle. No, I don't think so. Diet, exercise, pharmaceutical alone can actually bend the curve. The party of the three is required. Diet, exercise and pharmaceutical intervention, which are now very latest. Then along with that, I think so overall, you can say community play a large role. I think the government play a large role, like the call which has come from the government of India. I think it's an ecosystem where, something like what we see really in some of the developed countries like Singapore and we see in Denmark, some of the countries, we have also seen a fat tax which has come actually on the fat products. Talks have been also there actually in many of the other countries as well. So these issues which are there, they make it much more, you can say, worst.
But on the one hand, we also, like you said, you said something about, it being normal. On the one hand, when people are overweight and they say they own it, people say, yes, this is body positivity. But at the end of the day, we've also got to look at health parameters. When a person is overweight, there there are many health issues that person can have, right? So on the one hand, there are a lot of woke people saying that we must, accept our bodies the way it is, the way they are, and body positivity is a very good thing, yes. But alongside that, one has to look at the risks as well, the risks of being overweight, isn't it?
Yeah, and we as a company in Novo Nordisk, we are very sensitive about the language actually. We call it barriolinguistic, and these are some of the things like person with diabetes. We will refrain to say that diabetes is actually to be labeled. There should not be taboo attached to it. So person with obesity is basically to be embraced as the person is, but to be the change for that body,
yes,
should also not be
but it's a
undermined.
condition that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah. So it's like you should not marginalize, you should not taboo, you should not have the
We have to be inclusive.
We should be inclusive.
Yes.
But on the other side, I think the linguistic way is not to take it as a normal. Also should be the language. No, I am all right like this. I'm obese, but I don't have any kind of disease. I am perfect. I think these languages need to be changed, because as we take it normal, then our mind and actions and the thoughts, everything will change. We will not do anything about it. But we can only do something about it when we find an issue with it. So I think we are actually working on even the barrier language in terms of what exactly the terminology which should be used. And that's also one of the, you call it linguistic therapy areas, which are also very important in tackling any kind of a disease.
Adjuvant nutraceuticals, where do you see the magic happening with prescription therapy? And what's the minimum level of evidence you'd never compromise on?
See, like, we have a tricolor, right? And we multicolor. I always say that the food should be a rainbow of color. There should be all the kinds of colors which should be there. You should have all the vegetables, the lean protein should be there.
Yes.
Lean fat should be there, proteins should be there. I think the food plate should be multicolor. On the other side, the load on the calorie one should be mindful of. Now, when somebody is reducing the calorie, what these new age drugs actually do, GLP-1, they suppress the appetite. They suppress the feeling to take more food. They also suppress the feeling of hedonic pleasure. One is a hemostatic hunger, which is required for a bodily function, mechanical function.
Yes.
But then we all face the hedonic pleasure. Let's go for the drink in the evening.
Where our eyes are bigger than our stomach.
Right.
And we have that second helping and third helping and have plus.
Right.
Yes.
And then the last one is actually the periodicity of the eating, or you call it disciplined eating, which is also, we call it executive eating also, that 2 o'clock I need to open my lunch. So you eat because of 3 types of these kind of things. Now, when you reduce the calories, very important part is a healthy normal diet. When you reduce the calorie, 500 calorie, it should still continue to remain as a healthy nutrition diet. And of course,
even those 500 calories have to be very nutrient dense.
And then in some of the cases, like when you have bariatric surgery, gastric sleeve, when you are on GLP-1, of course, people should be mindful of doing some extra exercises. They should also be mindful of doing, you can say, take some kind of supplements as advised by the doctors, because there can be sometimes an issue of deficiency of micronutrients or minerals in the body.
So that's where the nutraceuticals come in, supplements come in.
There is a place for nutraceuticals, and it should be under the supervision again by the doctor. It should again not be taken self, like the way GLP, somebody should not go to the pharmacy and try to take a jab of it. So I think some of these things, whatever goes inside the body other than the healthy food, the colorful plate, one should take with the help of the doctors.
How do you do it? How do you keep yourself fit the way you are right now? Are you also that formula, calories in, calories out? Do you look like somebody who exercises a lot? What is your secret?
Yeah, I think it has first is because I joined the company called Novo Nordisk, and being in the field of diabetes, 100 years old, it became very natural. Whichever meeting you are going, you are finding the fit and fine people actually leading in executive position. And that brought the change itself in many of the people, not only in me.
Yes.
But I also believe that you have one life, that's also fact, but you have one body, and you only live in this body. right? So you have to be mindful, like you have to be mindful of what you are speaking, you have to
Yes.
be mindful how you are living.
Yes.
Similarly, you have to be mindful what you are eating.
That's right.
And then you have been given 2 legs,
yes.
move it right.
Yes.
Okay. And that's what I believe, and I have been following that, of course, a few exercise regimen, and I have a weighing scale actually at 3-4 places in my home. So I don't skip weighing myself every day. And if the needle is on the positive side, I just make efforts right then and there within couple of days to bring it back on the normal.
Yes, that's the key, to
size.
not let let it go
Let
out
it
of
not
hand.
slip out of hand.
Yes.
Let it not slip out of hand.
Okay, let's now talk about GLP-1s. What exactly they do? There's a lot of people know a lot and a lot of people don't know a lot. So break it down for us, what GLP-1s are, how it works. Novo Nordisk, of course, is the company that made this discovery that this same drug that was being used on diabetics can also be used for obesity very, very successfully. Yeah. So explain how GLP-1s work and how it could be possibly India's answer to the rising cases of obesity.
All right. So Novo has been in the protein chemistry for more than 100 years. So we work with insulin. The first of the insulins also came from our laboratories.
Yes.
Then the better insulin came. Insulin is a protein.
Yes.
And it was but natural that GLP-1 is also a protein. So it was...
and our bodies make GLP-1 already.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So when we take glucose by IV and when we eat glucose, there is a gut response. And that's what gave birth to GLP-1. Now, GLP-1 is not new something. There has been the first generation of GLP-1, twice a day, once a day. This is actually the next generation of GLP-1, what you are actually seeing. They have been there for more than 2 decades, in terms of the market availability.
So when did that shift happen? When did it become, this can also be used for?
We saw that there was a profound weight reduction when people with diabetes were given GLP-1. And of course,
and a lot of people with diabetes are also suffering from obesity at the same time. So their weight was going down.
Absolutely. Most of the people with diabetes will have an obesity. And then when they take different kinds of therapy, their weight increases. But with GLP-1, we could able to arrest the weight and also reduce the weight. Then, of course, we started finding it out and went to the lab and did the clinical trial. And then we came with this new age GLP-1. So this GLP-1 which came, it was accepted so fast, so early, because there was a vacuum. There was virtually non-availability of pharmacological intervention for a problem like obesity.
That's right.
Then everybody could see themselves in the mirror, right? People were grappling with it. People were walking with a BMI of 30, 35, 40. And how does it work is, it works multifactorial. It's like it tells the brain, hypothalamus, that, hey, you have eaten a lot, or a satiety feeling. The feeling of the hunger reduces. It also actually reduces the gastric motility in terms of passing of the food. So there is a sense of fullness. Okay. And then many other factors which come. This helps people in terms of eating less.
Okay.
And eating less in the way it's almost natural for them not to eat, because they were overeating also.
Yes.
The hedonic pleasure was coming.
And the only way for actually the weight to come down is by eating less. So this gets you to eat less.
Right.
Just by giving that signal to the brain.
Absolutely.
Now, what
it is called as obesity is actually called as a brain disease. It's programmed in the brain in terms of why some people eat more. They know that they should not be eating. After this, we'll go for a snacks, and we will know that we should not eat this. But I think I might at least pick up samosa, right? So that's how, knowing fully well, but the brain is not able to control. So there is these problems. Somebody can say that it's a problem of the willpower, but if it is a problem of the willpower, then we will not have 4 out of 10 people walking on the road with obesity and overweight. The willpower works, but it's not replicable.
Right.
It can work in very few percentage of people.
I'm one of those people who's really into health and fitness and wellness. So this has fascinated me, especially the topic of GLP-1s. I know how I struggle with my willpower very, very often when I'm trying to lose weight or trying to get fitter, and just I can't control myself. So this is amazing that it gives you this feeling of satiety. Tell me about side effects. I mean, everything comes with, there's the good and the bad, there's the good and the not so comfortable. Are there any side effects that one has to watch out for? Is there any possible, not downside, but any possible consequence?
First of all, I think you are an inspiration for many of the females, and female obesity is much more higher than the male obesity. There are now more females with obesity than the females with the less weight now in India, and that's a problem actually.
Yes.
And I think people like you inspire many of the ladies around
Thank you.
to keep fit and check their obesity. Now, regarding the side effects, it's a medicine, right? GLP-1. Of course, this is something which gets produced in your own gut, and now it is being given once a week as an injection.
How long do you take it? How long are you supposed to take it?
Normally, it is a metabolic disorder, obesity, so it has to be taken for a longer duration.
Okay.
And patients do discover and find out the weight reduction, and they get motivated to continue it longer.
Right.
Now, for any medications to get approved, I think the benefit and the risk profile has been evaluated by all the regulatory bodies,
of course,
across the world. So
yes,
all those things which are negativity around GLP-1, I would say, I think regulators are doing a fantastic job in terms of evaluating a benefit and a risk profile. With this medication, when people take, the normal side effects are basically transient, nausea and vomiting,
okay,
which actually continue to remain for 7 to 15 days in most of the people, and can be there up to 21 days, or we have seen that over a period of time it goes away.
Okay.
And then the person is actually feeling the normal when they take this medication.
And one takes it once a week, once a month? How does it work?
Once a week injection at any time of the day. So it's very, very convenient. It comes
and
in
you
a
can self-medicate?
No. And that's what we say, that whenever people have got these kind of an anxiety, or that side effects or any kind of drawbacks of taking it, I think just go to your doctor.
Yes.
And doctor is the best judge. Whether you take any medications in a normal sickness or you in any chronic ailment, I think the medicine comes with the benefits more than the side effects which are there.
Yes.
And doctor will judge you. Are you the right candidate to take it?
That's a very important thing, Vikrant. There are a lot of people who are, I come from the entertainment business. There are a lot of people who are in the entertainment business who turn to GLP-1 drugs to lose those last 5 kilos, last 3 kilos, the vanity pounds as they're called. And clearly they're not the right, are they the right candidates? Because the right candidates should be the ones who need it, who are they are suffering from a condition called obesity, or people who are diabetics. So what is your thought, or what are your take on that?
See, I'm aware that some of the people who take it and
are already quite slim.
we strongly tell not to take it actually. Because it is indicated for people with 27 BMI and above. And that too with a comorbidity situation. Most of the time they can have like diabetes or cardiovascular or any other issues which are there in the body.
It's not dangerous for slimmer people also to take it. Can they take it?
But why should they take when they are slim?
It has to be taken under the doctor's prescription, right? Yeah. And a doctor will look at you and say either you're the right candidate or not.
If I don't have a temperature, I don't take a antipyretic, right?
Correct.
Period. So when people are healthy,
yes,
and they have a normal weight, they should not take it. And when people have got more than 27 BMI, comorbid situation,
that's what makes them the right candidate.
My problem is actually people with more than 30 BMIs are not taking, and they are avoiding, and they are not going to the doctor. I don't say that they should take, but they should go to the doctor.
Yeah.
They should treat this condition as serious condition.
Yes.
Now is the time when I have started seeing obesity as a problem, as a disease, and as a condition which is to be treated.
Needs to be dealt with, absolutely.
And I think that is because of the medicines which are available there. But the problem is that chalta hai attitude. I am fit and fine. While people who are into the business of, celebrities and all that, they would like to look much more slimmer and all that.
Leaner,
And
yes.
we strongly discourage, because this is the medication for the right indication.
Yes, yes. And what happens, say you've taken it for a period of 7-8 months, you lost, or a year or however long, and you've lost the weight. What happens when you go off it?
I think, one of these things is that this medicine helps something called as the ABC. It can help people in terms of changing the attitude, behavior, and choices, towards obesity.
A, B, C.
Yeah,
I like that.
because, attitude, behavior, and choices. And we have seen many of the times that when people get motivated by
Yes,
the
when they
weight
lose
loss,
weight and they enjoy their new weight and they enjoy being a slimmer version of
Right.
themselves, they'll do whatever it takes to keep it off.
Right. So normally when they reduce the weight after a certain use,
But does the appetite come back the way it used to be?
we have seen in the clinical trials that they do gain the weight, but not as much as what they have lost.
Okay.
Because the treatment is, because it's a chronic condition.
Yes.
Because the treatment is stopped. So they can have a tendency to gain it back.
But not
But
all of
if
it.
they have changed their attitude, behavior, and their choices,
Then nothing can get it back on again.
then they probably can manage and maintain for a longer period.
Yes, no, nothing succeeds like success. So when you've
Absolutely.
lost a ton of weight and you're feeling good and energetic and well, and then you go off the drug, it might be a little bit harder, but you're feeling so good about this new avatar of yourself that you continue with diet, correct diet and exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, Vikrant, which country holds the crown for being the leanest and healthiest right now? And what can India learn from that country?
It would be very difficult for me to actually give a claim to fame to any of the countries. I think the first fact is that all the countries are battling with the problem of obesity.
Is it?
Everybody. There is nothing called
Which is the country which is lowest on the scale in terms of?
I think I don't get any proud feeling that countries like India, USA or China, they have actually the problem of obesity. And specifically in India, we are called as almost, becoming the diabetes capital of the world, or can become potentially the obesity capital of the world. And also because we have a more visceral fat. So we call it thin fat Indian.
Around the organs.
Yeah, so we call it thin fat, Indian. So a person like me who is a little less than the 23 BMI, and if you take a Westerner with less than 23 BMI, and when we do the DEXA scan, we will find out that, I have more fat than that Westerner or, Caucasian on the planet. And that makes the problem worse for Indian. So there has been also a try that whether 27 is the right BMI for Indians or 25 is the right BMI for Indians.
So culturally, it differs.
Yeah, but some of these countries, in Europe or Singapore, they have taken some, front foot in terms of tackling the disease.
Right.
Some have labeled obesity as a disease very clearly, and government is taking quite a lot of intervention. I'm also very much excited by Government of India with a call which Prime Minister Modi has taken, the health authorities are actually taking to tackle the burden of obesity. I think that is very much appreciated.
One more question. I mean, currently it's in the form of an injection. Is that right? When will it go to the next level and be available in the form of a pill? Is that somewhere in the horizon?
I can only say that I will feel the most proud person, at least in the company, if it comes from our laboratories.
Novo Nordisk is the pioneer as far as this is concerned.
It comes from our laboratories, and just to let you know that
is that in the
same
offing?
GLP-1 is now being in the phase 3 trials for a oral treatment for obesity.
Oh,
right. So there are many.
So it is in the offing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not very far away. But we have to see the results. We have to file for the regulatory approval. But the same oral GLP-1 is there very, you can say, around the corner.
Around the corner. That's great.
Getting into the regulatory framework.
Here's to a slimmer, healthier, fitter India. And speaking of fit, I asked you how you keep yourself fit. How about telling our audience over here, maybe some routine that you do on a regular basis, to keep yourself fit and healthy and strong, just something that they can, try at home, or some activity that you do that they can follow, that, that can keep those creeping kilos from, finding their...
I can tell you, 1st of January, I see the gym full at the place where I live.
Yes.
And it remains full for the first week.
Yes.
Come to the second and third week, it starts depleting.
Yes.
Right?
Motivation.
I have only one message to say: act now. Get up and start walking.
Yes.
When you can.
Some
start
form of
running,
activity. Yes.
Do Tai Chi, do yoga, play some sports, do something, work while standing, do something. Act now. Have some steps counting on yourself. And you can say avoid obesity.
Thank you so much. That was very inspiring, Vikrant. Thank you. And that, dear viewers, brings us to the grand finale of this season of Nutrify Today Boardroom Series Lite. From the wisdom of ancient ingredients to the cutting-edge sciences of modern health, from visionary leaders shaping nutraceuticals, pharma, and wellness to the unstoppable insights of business leaders like Vikrant Shrotriya. This season has been a celebration of knowledge, inspiration, and possibility. As we close this chapter, let's carry forward the conversations, the curiosity, and the drive to create a healthier, smarter, and more vibrant world. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Season 5 is already on the horizon, and I promise you it'll be bigger, bolder, and even more exhilarating. Until then, keep tuning into the right frequency for the future of health. I'm Mandira Bedi, signing off with gratitude, energy, and anticipation. See you soon.